Most of love just lasted. Poor little soul, we were never here.
Hello, my wonderful friends of the internet. My name is Hisae. If you guys are new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, come join the fam. Like, if you want to. If you don't, then that's cool too, I guess. Today we are going to be having a little girl talk, and we're going to cover 3 main topics because I love you guys so much, and you guys are like my friends, my little family. But I realize a lot of you guys are younger than me, and so like when you guys message me and stuff like that, you guys have a lot of questions on a bunch of stuff like I've had to learn throughout the years or just through growing up. So I figured we might as well have a little girl talk. I mean, if you're a guy, you can say too. There's nothing wrong with being informed, you know. Knowledge is power. Learn some stuff. Also, don't be immature while listening to this video. Don't be immature in the comments, because this is an informative place. So yeah, we're just gonna hop right into our topics. For starters, we're gonna be talking about periods. So age definitely varies about when you'll get your period. Some people get theirs in middle school as late as 8th grade or freshman in high school. Some people get them early on in elementary school. Well, personally, I got mine in the 5th grade, and so I was kind of on the younger side, but everyone's body is different. If you haven't gotten your period yet and you're like, I feel like my period should have came, don't stress about it. Your body is doing its own thing. Everybody is different, and there's nothing wrong with getting your period later. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you or anything like that, but that's just how your body is functioning. When you get your period, definitely be open about it. Tell your mom or your dad or your big sister, whoever you need to tell, so you can get what you need. Get your pads, get your tampons, whatever the case may be, and so you can get informed about, you know, what you got to do when you're on your period, how you have to clean up more, and you know, what to wear so you don't like bleed through, things like that. The big thing about periods, you have to find out which product you're the most comfortable with, whether that be pads or that be tampons. Everyone has their own preference. Starting off, I would recommend pads just because they're easier to use, and like most girls at a young age don't really get to know themselves down there, so pads is just easy. You get to stick it on your underwear and like you're good to go, and you can just take it off. Tampons are a little more complex. Me personally, I don't wear tampons when my flow is heavier, but that's just me personally. They come in handy when, you know, you're doing more strenuous physical activities or you decide to go swimming and stuff like that. You can wear them when you go swimming. It's not always the most comfortable thing, so I just prefer not really to swim when I'm on my period. Periods shouldn't be a topic that you're embarrassed about. Like, you shouldn't be worried about like hiding your pad or hiding your tampon when you go to the restroom. I know it's a very taboo subject, but in this day and age, like, people are becoming more mature with, like, you know, struggles that females go through. So I don't think it's ever something you should be embarrassed about. Be open with your friends about it. If you're having cramps, cramps are definitely a thing that I suffered from for a really long time. They absolutely suck. My cramps used to be so bad to the point where I used to not leave my bed when it was like my 2nd or 3rd day because my cramps would be so bad, to the point where I had to get on birth control. That's another thing that can help you a lot. Birth control really will regulate your period. It can help with cramps and like just how heavy your flow is. It might lighten it a little bit, you never know. So if your cramps are extremely bad, that's something you can look into. Another thing with cramps, like, there's so many different things that you can do to help them, whether that be like light exercise, because it really does like loosen up your muscles, or just eating better foods. I know when you're on your period, you like are craving junk food like crazy. I'm the exact same way. I don't crave junk food as much, but I just get so hungry. But there's nothing wrong with that. The only reason you're so hungry and craving all these different types of food is because your body's losing nutrients through the blood you're losing, so your body's trying to compensate for that by eating more. So don't get too freaked out like, oh my god, why am I eating like a crazy person? That's the only reason why. But there are substitutes for foods. Like, if you're craving something greasy, it's because you're probably missing like a certain vitamin. You can get that like from a healthier alternative and things like that, but your mind just immediately goes to that junk food. But like, to help your cramps, again, like eating better foods, working out, heating pads are lifesavers. Of course there's pain relievers, but I'm not a huge, you know, medicine pill person. And then sleep is the healer of all problems. Along with periods, after you get your period, it's like a sign of maturity in the female body, I guess. Like, your body is now ready for pregnancy is basically like what getting your period means. And so after that point, of course, like not right after you get your period, like I got my period in the 5th grade. It's not like I was like, all right, let's have sex. But if you do choose to have sex, then you suffer from the risk of pregnancy after you get your period, because your body, your eggs are now ready for that. When it comes to the topic of sex, of course, it's also a very taboo subject, especially in high school, middle school. Kids don't really know what they're talking about, but it's definitely something you should get informed about and get as much information as you can before you decide to participate in that, because there's a ton of risk that comes with it and a lot of responsibility, and you don't want to participate in that activity if you're not ready for all the consequences that can come with it, from STDs, because there are so many of them that you can get, not only just from like intercourse, but like from oral sex or even just kissing, like herpes and stuff like that, to like pregnancy itself, which is such a huge thing. And so get as informed as you can. Talk to people who are mature about the subject. Don't like talk to people who don't know what they're talking about, because you're going to get misinformation and that's going to lead you down the wrong path. So learn as much as you can on the topic of sex. I know some schools provide sex ed. Me, in the state I live in, they don't provide good sex ed at all. They only teach abstinence, and that's why the pregnancy rate is so high in this state. So, you know, get educated, but like in a good way. Learn about protection, the different methods you can do for protection, from birth control to condoms themselves, second step actions if you do end up finding out that you're pregnant, such as Plan B or abortions and stuff like that. It's just good to get informed. If you guys ever need someone to actually talk to about, you guys know my DMs or whatever are always open. I'm always here to talk to you guys, but don't let anyone pressure you into that subject. I know people say that all the time, but like not only just from guys, like from your friends. Like if all your friends are having sex and you're not ready to have sex, girl, don't have sex so you can just participate in the conversation. Like the conversation isn't that great anyways. Like don't do something you know you're gonna end up regretting. If you are ready to take that step, then go for it, and don't let anyone like change your mind unless it is like a really bad decision. But like, you know when you're ready, and you have to take a step back and speak to yourself and be like, okay, am I ready to make this big of a commitment to something? And then once you are, you need to be honest about it. Like, not saying you need to go run and tell your mom the second you have sex, but like if you go to the doctors and they ask, are you sexually active? You need to answer truthfully, so that way if you do need any type of medical attention, you can do that, and you can get your regular checkups, and you can get STD tested, because again, knowledge is power, and you don't want to go into something not knowing. Like if you end up having sex with someone, like it's good to know, like, hey, like, have you been tested before? Like, do you know if you're clean or not? Because, you know, some things run in blood, and if they've been sexually active before, you don't know like who they've had sex with. Because when you have sex with someone, in a way, you're having sex with every other person they've had sex with, and then every other person that person's had sex with, because that's how STDs transfer. So you need to be aware of that and be very cautious of that. I'm not saying this to like scare anyone away from sex, but like there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and you need to be aware of that before you make that commitment. And lastly, we're going to talk about like maintenance, and by maintenance I mean like taking care of your vajayjay. Of course, we're in a very big time period where like women are really embracing their natural state in their hair, and I think that is the most wonderful thing ever. And if you are someone who wants to do that, then you should totally do it, and let no man or no woman tell you how you should take care of yourself down there. But if you do want to take care of yourself down there, all preference, there's about like 3 ways to go about it. There's shaving, which is like the most common, the average person does it. There's waxing, and then there's like laser hair removal, which is like the most extreme and also the most expensive. It kind of goes from like cheapest to like most expensive. Shaving is the most common, is the easiest way to remove hair. There are things that come with shaving though, like, or with all hair removal basically. You can get ingrown hairs if you're not shaving properly. So make sure to never shave against the, not the grain of your hair, but the direction your hair is growing in, because that can cause ingrown hairs. Always shave with the freshest blade possible, because then it's the sharpest and has less bacteria on it. So it's also less likely to give you ingrown hairs. Make sure to exfoliate down there, because exfoliating will renew the skin cells, and then from there it'll also like prevent ingrown hairs from growing, and they'll have a clearer root to sprout up, because like no one wants ingrown hairs or razor bumps and stuff like that. There are different products on the market to like prevent ingrown hairs, or like aftershave creams. Personally, I just use like more natural stuff like coconut oil and like shea butter and stuff like that, because I like natural products on my skin. And so yeah, those are probably my biggest tips for shaving. And then there's waxing. I think waxing is the greatest invention ever, but it's something you definitely have to get comfortable with. There are different types of wax. You can get bikini waxes, or you can get Brazilians, and Brazilians like the full thing. Bikini's just like your bikini area, a part you would see in your bikini. It's definitely something you have to get comfortable with, because you are allowing another person to see your business down there. But at the same time, it's not something you should ever be insecure about. They've seen 1,001 vaginas and they literally do not care at all. It is slightly more expensive, but for me personally, it's easier to maintain. You only have to go once a month. The hair grows back thinner. It's all about preference really though. The pain I think is completely tolerable if you go to the right place. There's two different types of waxes you can get. There's soft wax and there's hard wax. Soft wax is the most common, where they apply the wax and then they apply a cloth over it and rip it up. That's soft wax. And hard wax is they just apply the wax and then they rip up from the wax. Soft wax more so exfoliates the skin itself with it because it rips at the skin, but hard wax only brings out the hair because it doesn't adhere to the skin, and so you have to exfoliate yourself, but it makes it less painful. So if you are looking in to getting a bikini or Brazilian wax, I would recommend going to a place that uses hard wax, because then it's less painful, more tolerable, and it's not like as scary of an experience, and like you're not going to cry yourself to sleep because it hurts so much. And lastly is laser hair removal. Laser is more permanent. I believe you have to go into like several different appointments, but then it removes the hair for good. Some people are more apprehensive to it because like there are people who say like, oh, it can mess with like your ovaries and stuff like that, which will harm pregnancy. So be cautious of that. All of these before you decide to participate in, make sure you do your research and look into. Get a second opinion of someone you trust. But maintenance is all about, that's all about preference. When it comes to cleaning yourself down there, do not use any type of scented product, any type of soap or anything like that. Your vagina is part of your system, right? Your whole system, and your body knows how to take care of itself, and it is self-cleaning. If you ever find like white stuff on your underwear or your swimsuit or whatever that may be, that is discharge, and discharge is your vagina cleaning itself. The only thing you need to do is really just like rub it down with water, because anything else can mess up the pH balance, which can then mess with your eggs and your ovaries, and you don't want those problems because they're so easy to prevent. So literally just use water to rinse yourself off. When you're on your period, you'll probably need to like rinse it, like you'll probably shower more often just because you'll feel grosser, but like it is so unnecessary to look into all that pH stuff because it's really not good for you. Like it's so unnatural. And again, self-functioning, it cleans itself, it can do everything on its own because it is a strong independent vagina and it does not need no artificial product. Okay, so those are all of the topics I wanted to cover in today's little girl talk thing. If you guys want another girl talk, definitely let me know on topics of like body insecurity or boys or like whatever the case may be. I love like just informing you guys and helping you guys. The more you know, the better off you will be. I'm always open to talk to you guys because again, you guys are my friends, my family. I love you guys so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me, feel free to comment them down below, because you know we're a little community here, and you know someone else might have an answer or be able to help you. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye babes.